The average first-time home buyer in America is now 41 years old. Yep, I'll say that again, 41. If you've been putting off buying a home because you think you missed your window, that number should tell you something. You didn't miss it. You're right on time. Today, I'm going to show you the real numbers behind buying right now. Not to scare you, numbers that show you exactly why home ownership is still possible, even in this market, even with today's prices. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand something most people don't. Waiting is not the safe choice. Waiting has a cost. Let's get into it. So let's start with who is actually buying homes today. The typical first-time home buyer is now 41 years old. Repeat buyers average 62. Sellers average 64. Take it a second to think about that. A generation ago, the starter home story was a couple in their mid-20s buying their first place. That's not the norm anymore. The average first-time home buyer today is 41. Why? A big part of it is home prices. Prices have climbed fast over the last 5 years, and it's taken people longer to save, to qualify, and to feel ready. And here's another number that surprised me. First-time home buyers used to make up around 32% of all purchases. Today, they're closer to 24%. Buying your first home has become a smaller slice of the market. I'm not telling you this to discourage you, obviously. I'm telling you this because if you feel like you're behind, you're not. You're right on time. You are the norm, not the exception. Let's talk about financing because this is where a lot of the fear lives. About 74% of recent buyers financed their purchase. That means the vast majority of people are not paying cash. They are getting a mortgage just like you might. But look at how financing breaks down by age. I've got this so I don't have to read it to you. Yes, by age. So the age of 26 to 34 is 96%. But if you go down here, the ages 70 to 78 is 49% financed. Take a look at it. Notice something? The younger you are, the more likely you are to use financing. That's not a weakness. That's just how home buying works for most people starting out. Almost everyone in your position is financing their home. You are not doing this wrong by needing a mortgage. This is exactly why understanding your loan options, your down payment options, and your monthly payment matters so much more than having a huge pile of cash saved up. It's about the plan, not the size of your bank account today. You might be thinking, with everything online now, do I even need an agent? Here's what the data says. 88% of buyers used a real estate agent. 90% of homes sold involved an agent. 73% of buyers said they'd recommend their agent to others. And 87% said they'd use an agent again with future sales. People can search online all day long, but finding the listing was never really the hard part. The hard part is understanding what you can actually afford, negotiating the price, reading the inspection report, knowing which loan program exists, and making sure nothing falls apart between an accepted offer and closing day. This is where an agent earns their place. Not access to the listing, it's access to the knowledge, the relationships, the guidance that gets you to the closing table with confidence. Okay, now let's get local. Let's talk Columbus, Ohio, because this is the number that should light a fire under you in a good way. Here's what happened over the last 5 years, comparing June 2021 to June 2026. The median existing home price in Ohio went from about $235,000 to about $285,000. That's a 21% increase. Your 20% down payment went from about $47,000 to about $57,000. That's $10,000 more you'd need to save. Now, here's the number that really matters. The estimated monthly payment on that home went from about $793 to about $1,517. That is $724 more every single month than it would have been 5 years ago. Over a year, that's more than $86,000. I'm not sharing this with you to make you panic. I'm sharing it because it answers a question I hear all the time. Should I just wait a couple more years until I have more saved up? And real quick, before we go further, let's clear something up. That 20% down payment number I mentioned, that's just the standard figure used in these affordability studies. It's not what you actually need to buy. Most of my first-time homebuyers are not putting 20% down. There are loan programs built for 3%, 5%, or even 0% down. So the real down payment conversation is usually a lot more encouraging than that number. Look at what waiting costs people over the last 5 years. Prices did not go down. They went up. Rates went up. The down payment needed went up. If you wait for the perfect moment, that moment tends to get more expensive, not less. This is not about fear. This is about math. It's about if buying is possible for you now. Waiting 5 more years is unlikely to make it easier. Here's the mindset shift I want to leave with you, and it's honestly the most important part of this whole video. Your first home does not have to be your forever home. I think a lot of people get stuck because they're waiting to buy the house. The one with everything on the list, the big yard, the extra bedroom, the perfect kitchen. And they wait, and they wait, and prices keep climbing while they wait. But look at the numbers again. The typical buyer stays in their home 5 to 7 years. A first home is not a life sentence. It's a starting point. It's equity building instead of rent paying. It's a foot in the door. Derek and I didn't think homeownership was possible for us either. We took a free home buyer class on friends' advice, and 6 weeks later, we were homeowners. Our first house was not our forever home, but it got us started. It built our equity. It built our confidence, and it led us here. That's what I want for you. Not the perfect house, a realistic house, a house that fits your real budget today, that gets you started on the path. So here's what I want you to take away from all this. The average first-time homebuyer today is 41. If that's you, you're right on time. Almost everyone finances their home. That is normal, not a setback. Buying now, even with today's prices and rates, is very likely more affordable than buying the same home years from now. And your first home is a stepping stone, not a final destination. Home ownership is still possible. It just starts with staying inside your real budget, understanding your options, and giving yourself permission to start smaller than you imagined. If you want to talk through what's actually possible for you right now in Columbus with your real numbers, reach out to me. I'm Fawn Christy, a realtor here in Columbus with New Nest & Co. Group, and this is exactly what I do. I help people figure out their first step towards home ownership. Let's figure out yours together.